Hey, Linkura, good to see ya. Hopefully you all are doing okay. Yeah, video games are real, everybody. Did you know that? You know who knows better than anybody here? Crappy. Tell us, are video games real? Are they fake? Where do they come from? Where are they going? Well, take us on over to the reveal and watch out. You might get turned into a video game yourself. Ah! That's what happens in Transformers. Well, you know, let's not dilly-dally because we've got probably the best GM ever for you. Yeah, I don't try to hype people up quite this much, but I got it today because it is me. Come on, revel in the glory, revel in the Kuso. Although we will have a guest here. I'm wondering if Omega Number is willing to come and join. Look, you gotta, if you're doing comedy, you gotta pimp yourself up, you know? You gotta pimp yourself up. I don't think that's right. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You gotta make yourself good. That way, when you start showing how flawed you are as an individual, everybody can laugh. And then you're like, no, I'm cool. I'm cool, everybody. I'll stream closed captioner. Oh my gosh. Okay. Stop yelling at me. I'll fix it. Omega Number, I want to talk to you. Omega Number. Omega Number. Omega, that is the last number. Omega Number agreed to come and do commentary with me, and we'll see if I have scared them away. I don't know, you never know. Sometimes people are afraid of Kusogran8, and I don't blame them. It's terrifying. Oh, hello there, Omega Number. Scared speechless, I see. That's how it happens to all of us. You've got your mic muted.
Oh, yes. Okay, there we go. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty well today. Yeah, yesterday, you know what? I like to talk about mental health stuff, and I'm realizing, like, one thing that I've been learning is that since I'm on the spectrum, meltdowns are not something that like will ever go away. They will always be a part of my life, and yesterday was meltdown day, and it's absolutely fascinating to me. Like I find it like you know, it's not fun to go through, but at the same time I find it really interesting because it's just so different from panic attacks, and so like I don't know, it's I wish that I could like project how you feel, because it's like going through a breakdown, but at the same time being like, I'm hungry. I want to do something else. I'm bored. Can I stop screaming for a little while? I'm bored of this. It's just, I don't know, completely a weird experience. But with that said, that was yesterday, and today's a different day. I'm feeling really good today, and luckily that pressure has been released, and it'll take a little while to build back up. So I'm doing good. Yeah, how about you? How are you doing?
I'm pretty solid. Summer is hot.
Heck
really
yeah,
hot.
it is.
I'm at least not up at Phoenix where it's like absolutely melting, but it's still pretty melty.
Oh my
here,
gosh.
so.
I've been to Phoenix in the summer, and that was a mistake. Oh boy, don't go there.
Yeah. I know Saudi Arabia actually recruits from there. Specifically, they know that like the people from there can handle the heat. So like for medical personnel, they'll actually hire people from there.
That's actually pretty smart. They're like, who won't melt when they come over here? Okay. People from Phoenix.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's the closest place in the United States to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, let's talk about the game here, because I'm giving out a game that I don't believe you know at all.
Yeah, I intentionally I ignored anything you posted about it because I'm since you're doing the host this time, I figure I'm doing the I don't know anything about this game, so I get to ask questions. Kind of thing,
perfect. So. Well, don't worry. I don't think most people in chat are going to know this game either. This is a Kusogrand8 first, but it's a game that I've known for years and finally actually took the time to figure out a good way to track this. So everybody, without further ado, the game that we are giving out is Wow, that was a good reveal. Midnight Mutants for the Atari 7800. The players will have 1 hour to try to figure out how to defeat these Midnight Mutants and use their psychic link with Grandpa. Whoever manages to make the most progress will take the victory. The last two people, I believe, are getting eliminated from the tournament, and that is a little sad, but that's the way that it goes in Kusogrand8. So let me go ahead and hop on over to the screen. I'm probably going to ask one of our players to play the intro for us because we need to see it. Let me make sure that I have everything right first, though, because welcome to getting everything set up. Here we go. The Midnight.
I hope the two people who saw this game on Twitch get a notification, so the two enthusiasts of Midnight Mutants get their race on.
Heck yeah! I'm glad that all two people who like this game might know that it's on if they are conveniently watching Twitch at this exact moment. Otherwise, I don't know. We might get new fans here. Let me crank this audio up so you can all hear this beautiful stuff. Yeah, just make sure Omega Number, if you want to watch on the stream setup that Tristan has, you are welcome to do that.
Yeah, I've got it set up.
Perfect. I'm gonna message All Luck No Skill and see if they can reset and play the intro for us. So here are our four players: All Luck No Skill, Garby, the Glitcherous, Mr. Zimbu, and Venbright. Again, 2 eliminated, 2 moving on to round 4. And now, an intro. All Luck No Skill, please show us the intro. October 1747. Burn, witch! I will return. There. October 1992. I'm back. Oh no! Watch out! The dogs! Ah! Vengeance is mine! Take that, Gramps. Yep, that's it.
That's deep lore right there.
Yeah.
Does the manual have some good lore too? Or are we gonna get some more from that?
Yeah, we do have good lore, and I do have a manual I shared with the players, and I can... Actually, I'll go ahead and add you to the match, just so that you are able to see what's going on in there. You can take a look at the pinned messages, and whatever you'd like. You should be in there now. Okay. Well, I'm checking to see if the players are ready to get going in this game. Feel free to use your channel points, everybody, to see, to bet on who you think is going to win this Midnight Mutants match. None of the players are experienced with the Atari 7800, and that excites me. Well, we are doing the countdown.
Somebody was asking in the channel about 1990. A Jaguar did not come out till 93. So this was the current Atari console at the time.
Yeah. Well, chat, please spam all of your emotes. Anything scary, anything mutant-wise, and anything from the monsters. Yeah, monsters, pumpkins, Halloween. Come on, it's that time of year. The year that I give something that is not appropriate for this time of year. And here we go. I love the constant message that says, talk to Grandpa. Now, beware, everybody. There may be flashing, and there probably will be flashing. This is Atari, and you should be aware. I'm gonna do a little recapturing just to help make everything look a little bit better. We don't need the weird stuff at the top and the bottom, you know, the letterboxing. What's a letterbox to me? Well, here all of the players are going into the mansion in order to get the first key item here. Yeah, we have a psychic link with Grandpa, and our goal essentially is to rescue him. Yeah, this has no connection to the monsters. Don't worry about it, everybody, okay? If you worry about it, then you are probably going to have a lawsuit, probably like the developers of this game. I'm pretty sure there was a lawsuit about this game. So, yeah, with that said, what are you noticing so far? It's a top-down kind of, almost open world adventure game, and everybody is going different places. The first item that they need is definitely the knife, though.
Just to be clear here, I'm a little confused reading the things. You gave them the walkthrough for this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I guess you brought it up as a possibility. So they're just going on their own. What kind of direction did you give them, though, like in terms of where they're supposed to go at all? Did they know anything?
This is the information that I gave them. I gave them the manual. I gave them instructions for how progress will be tracked. And then I told them one piece of advice: listen to Grandpa. And that is all that the players have. So the tracking metrics are first, the number of bosses killed, however many they kill, which is likely to be either 0 or 1, I think. After that, the amount of damage that they deal to the boss, which luckily is visible. And finally, they have the key items. Now, the manual actually does have a convenient amount of information, and the players who took a look there probably have a better idea of where to go and what to do. There's a map in the manual. There is information about where some of the items are, and the knife is definitely helpful. So, Mr. Zimbusian, a cross will protect you from bats. That is the important information for the second item that you need after you get the knife. The knife is inside the mansion. 3 out of 4 of our players have it. And then after that, you actually have to leave the mansion, go to the church, collect the cross. And then after that, leave the church, go into the woods to the cabin, and the cabin has the axe, and that is what you need in order to fight the first boss here. So I think All Luck No Skill is currently making the most progress to the cabin. You just want to walk straight to the left. After going up enough, you didn't go up enough. That's fine. You're going to be lost in the woods for a while.
What's the difference between the blood purity? And also there's like coloring on that word blood, which I don't know if that's a different thing, and health.
The coloring starts becoming more red the lower your blood meter goes. I'm not 100% sure. I never ran out of blood, but I'm pretty sure you die when you don't have blood. Your health is separate. If you run out of health, you die. I know that because I died plenty of times. In fact, if you see a dog show up on screen in the forest, like for All Luck and No Skill and possibly Venbright, you will probably see a death and a game over very quickly.
So you know the map a lot better than me. Who would you say is ahead right now?
Well, I mean, I'd say that All Luck No Skill is the closest to getting the next key item. Venbright is in the pumpkin patch, and there's a lantern in there that you can collect in order to go into the fireplace later, but that doesn't appear in your menu as a key item, and it's not required for a while, so, like, Venbright's just running around in pumpkins. All Luck No Skill is the closest to getting the axe at this point. Oh my gosh. Walking Dead don't need shoes. Garb is running around in the mansion, which feels like that's where you should be, but it absolutely isn't. You just go in there to get the knife and then leave, because there's nothing else you can do until you beat the first boss.
I mean, how much of this is you think, like, people... This almost feels like an information game to an extent. Is that right? Like, if you actually know what to do, it's a lot easier than somebody who is, like, not realizing you're not supposed to be in the pumpkin patch right now.
Oh, completely. Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, you can get hints by talking to Grandpa. So you've got two buttons when you're playing the game. The first is your fire button, which lets you shoot weapons. The second is to go into your menu where Grandpa talks to you a bunch, gives you hints, and that's also where you can select items. And he generally tells you the next step in the process. It depends on, like, each room he'll say something specific. When you transition to a new room, he'll usually change to a different line. So if you're not getting something helpful, moving to a new room and talking to Grandpa again through the psychic connection will generally give you a good tip for the next item to get. So right now I've seen Garb's screen talking about the cross whenever Grandpa pops up, and that is absolutely the item that you need to get after the key. And the thing is, you can't actually get it before you get the knife. Sorry, when I said key, what I meant was knife. The knife is a key to get into the chapel. It's stupid. How are knives keys? I don't know.
Yes, I mean, you could pick a lock with it, maybe. That's a little odd, but sure, I guess kind of it works. So one of the things on Venbright Spring is been like going rooms really quickly and getting all these messages about how Simon detests all humans, and also, let's see here, what's next? Simon's experiments involve bodily fluids from his rams, the ultimate Hollywood nightmare, Midnight Mutants. Are any of these like useful or something we need to keep track of? Are they like maze room names or something?
Most of the things that you see at the top are not helpful. Walking Dead don't need shoes. Yeah, that's not helpful. Like, you'll see, I need my mutant TV, but that's just I want my MTV song reference. That's all it is. Some proclaim that Simon hates the human race. Yeah, that's helpful. No, it's not. We just know Simon is a jerk.
You know, this kind of game I could easily see there's some really essential hint that only appears on one out of like 40 messages, and you have to make sure that you paid attention when that one pops up for later to solve a puzzle. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I can imagine.
Oh no! Guess what? You're dead! Hit restart. Yeah, you can just hit the button. The other button, you gotta wait for the game over to play through, but reset is a way to just go back to the beginning. There we go. Welcome to the madness that is Midnight Mutants. I love how much exploration is in there, and I actually really like a lot of the ideas. One annoying thing about this, though, obviously, because we're dealing with an isometric system here, when you're trying to throw a knife up or down, it travels at an angle, but left or right, it travels perfectly horizontal. So actually lining up with enemies can be a little bit tricky. Navigating some of the rooms, you can get stuck on terrain. You can potentially get... it can be a nightmare. Venbright, death! Unfortunately, radioactive software is not being super kind here. Oh my gosh, Mr. Zimbu collecting a diamond. Now, the diamonds in this game are not required, as far as I'm aware. However, they make your health bar longer. Those won't count towards progress, but they may help the players play for a little bit longer. So look at All Luck No Skill. You open the door with your knife. See, that's what it says. You open the door with your knife. You found the cross. So if you change to the cross while in Grandpa's screen and run past bats, they will not hurt you. They cannot hit you, which is great because you need to conserve your blood, probably.
Is All Luck going to try doing it though? I was looking at the message but did not switch to the cross. But like, when do you switch to the cross?
Whenever you want.
It seems like the bats are with all lots of other things that you want to throw your knife at. So.
Okay, watch All Luck No Skill because I think this is going to be a death. Yeah. Oh, there we go. You killed the dog. Okay, I love that the dog just keeps eating you until you throw a knife while laying down. And throw it in the direction of the dog. You can absolutely throw your knife in the wrong direction. Game over! All Luck No Skill, no! Did you see that knife throw? I love it. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so not only is like the knife going in the wrong direction, but so you got the bats in the middle, so it seems like you'd want to switch to the cross with the bats in the middle, but then like while you're avoiding the bats with the cross, like the game wants you to, the dog then comes after you, and then you really don't have the knife out because like you'd have to switch back to the knife, and then you'd only have it out after you've already been knocked over.
Yeah, but like when you go into the menu, time doesn't pass. It's not Dark Souls.
Okay.
So like
right.
you have time. So the manual that I gave also comes with a map, and this map is actually extremely useful. If you take a look here, when Grandpa mentions a cross, you can actually see on this map that by the church here, there is the cross symbol. That's where you need to go. After that, he starts talking about the cabin in the woods, which you can see down. If you head from the left of the church and go down and then to the right, you can get close to the cabin. You have to do a little bit of a loop-de-loop in order to get there. Go back to the start, go down, go all the right past the dogs by the cliffs, which you've seen murder All Luck No Skill. Go up into the woods where All Luck No Skill... No, never mind. All Luck No Skill is heading to the pumpkin patch by the church. Head up past the cliffs to the left and then up towards the cabin. It's a little bit tricky to get there, but absolutely is going to be the next place. Once you have the axe, you can go fight boss number 1.
Okay. Yeah, so, but it does look like, is everybody using their map, I guess, is the thing I'm trying to suss out, because it does look like they're maybe a little more lost than they should be.
Oh, I doubt that everybody's using the map. I mean, I gave them the manual, but it's kind of a long manual. It's, 10 pages? And if you're not paying careful attention to the information in there, and information that Grandpa is giving you, then you may be confused. The ultimate piece of advice that I pinned in Discord was listen to Grandpa. Okay, even if he says stupid stuff sometimes, you know. Otherwise, if it's related to an item in the game, you need that item.
So there has been yet another thing in conversation about a 7800 game being released in 1990. Yeah, I mean, the Jaguar wasn't out yet, so like if Atari, and this was from Atari themselves, right? This wasn't a third-party company?
Oh, radioactive software? I'm pretty sure that's not Atari.
Hold on a second, because it says Atari on the other thing. Well, hold on, let me look. All right, it's time to dig down into the, let's see. So the developer...
Yeah, radioactive software, they made...
Okay.
they made 3 games. Apparently, this was their first game after that Eliminator Duel. And then Gettys, oh my gosh, English, please. Gettysburg Armored Warfare. Those are the 3 games. However, the main creator here, Peter A. Adams, worked on quite a few games like, oh my gosh, Michelle Kwan Figure Skating. No, Beachhead 2. I know Beachhead 1, which isn't great. Oh, Blue Max? Blue Max is one of my favorite old school games. Oh my gosh. Okay. Peter, yeah. Blue Max is one of the only isometric plane flying games that I would recommend. Apparently he also did the Commodore 64 version of that, as well as Zaxxon, which makes sense. They're fairly similar. He programmed Paperboy 2 for Genesis. Okay. That's fine. I don't know if Paperboy 2 was any good, but that's a little scary.
Hold on, I'm checking. So the stories by. What on earth does? So it's not stories, but stories by Tammy Moore. That bit is confusing to me because usually you would say story by, but this is stories by. What does that mean?
What, you want me to fix somebody's grammar from 1990? Well, I could do that all day.
I don't know, like maybe this has like quests or something where that makes sense.
Absolutely not. We're trying to save Grandpa.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Maybe there's second quest like Zelda, you know. Yeah, it's a really odd credit because then the other 2 credits are Dreaming Davy. There's a special phase that's on the NES game, which I believe you know pretty well.
Well, I mean, the person who did the music for this game did the music for Daydreamin' Davy as well. Yeah, there are a lot of connections between this game and other games in Kusogrand8. Like, I love it.
And then the other game Tammy Moore is connected with is WWF WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge. But that just says evaluation by, which I'm not even sure what that means. Making sure that it's gonna get the Nintendo seal quality, I guess.
Right, switch to the knife! My apologies. Okay, sorry, what were you saying?
So, what does it mean when he says evaluation by in the credits? I mean, you know, I can hear like a tester, right? But what's an evaluator? Or what does that mean?
I don't know. Also, why is the music so stuttery for all look no skill? I might swap to Garb's audio if it keeps up like this.
Oh, well, I thought that was just the music. I didn't realize that was, like, wrong.
I'll see if it keeps being a problem. I don't know. Yeah, it could. Okay, and who was it that got credited for evaluating?
Tammy Moore. Hold on, let me pull up the thing again. Yeah, okay. Tammy Moore. It says stories by for this game.
Oh yeah, evaluation for WWF WrestleMania.
Yeah, it says
I don't
evaluation
know
by. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, other people who got credited for evaluating it were testers. So including somebody who tested Captain Novolin. Yeah. I would say that essentially evaluation by would just be someone who tested. With that said, she didn't evaluate this game, she did stories. If you look at the manual, though, there's a huge section talking about lore, which I honestly got enough of the lore from the introduction. Blah, 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 someone got burned, then many years later, they said, I'm back. And then I can
read it dramatically for you if you want.
I'm trying to do a couple other things real quick. because I do want to say thank you to all of our volunteers who are helping right now, especially our referees. For this match, we have Linkura feels pressure on her brain. We've got Cherry Eris featuring Second Cousin Once Removed. Whoa, look at All Luck No Skill. This is actually a huge amount of progress. I think we're going to see the boss in just a little bit. Because we're getting lore here. Simon killed ravagely and drank blood. As his anger and craving for human life grew, Simon became a skeletal arms and stuff. Oh no. All Luck No Skill, don't let the dog kill you. You need to drink your blood. Have you been a good boy? Sure. Okay, well, there's also Jerry Eris featuring Second Cousin Once Removed. Mouseshy wants Grandpa to stop backseating. Hazelshade 12 wants their mutant TV, and Not Electa is a midday mutant at best. Midnight is for those young and mutants. And here we go! Mutant Ram Power, boss number 1.
This is so it's actually just the ram head somehow turned gigantic, and then now we're in this fight in this black space.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we had to go to the barn.
Logical. I noticed on the lead up, it was still really confusing what you were supposed to have out, because they were like the bats were still pestering you, so you'd want to have out the cross, but then also like equidistant you had the dog. So which one do you have out? Do you have the cross or do you have the axe?
I wouldn't worry too much about the bats, because even though they will hit you, they generally just take away blood and don't deal damage. The dogs can kill you super quickly. If you've got enough blood, don't worry too much about bats. Well, All Luck No Skill dealing some damage to this boss and is making a decent amount of progress here. It looks like we've got 7 bits of health for the boss up at the top left. Set aside your fear. Okay, there we go. All Luck No Skill using the healing potion, and let's see if we can get a couple more hits. Mr. Zimbu in the parallel universe and collecting the diamond. If you go down, you actually get to the area right near the boss. You have to walk through a secret passage to get to the boss, but which is lovely. Thank you so much for making a secret passage required.
Is it mentioned in the manual somehow?
It is, yes. Let me see. If you scroll down, hints. First, get the knife, cross, and the axe. You'll need these items first. Then get the blaster and the key. Hint number 2, there is a warp hole just outside the cabin. The warp hole takes you to the corral. That warp hole essential. Under that, you must have the axe to fight the first boss inside the corral. Oh, All Luck No Skill dying to the boss, but that was still significant progress in first place. Okay. Where's the part about the bush? Okay, I'm trying to find this. Where's the information here? Okay, stables and barn. When you find the stables and barn, enter via the bush that casts no shadow. What you have to do is go to an area where there is a bush on the ground. You can see some of those bushes by Mr. Zimbu, and there is one that doesn't have a shadow in the place near the boss yet, and that is where the secret passage is. You have to walk by the bush that has no shadow in order to get to the boss. I know I'm just like throwing out way too much information at this point.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, so I'm looking at the other players, if they got overwhelmed with trying to figure some things out, or if like they tried to follow direction they got lost. It does seem like in some cases they're just kind of wandering.
Yeah, with that said, Garb is in the woods, walking all the way up and then to the left, all the way to the left, not up. Nope. Okay, to the left. No, that's okay. Exploration is a large part of this. I mean, it says that it shows that the axe is in the woods, but it doesn't really help you know how to get there. That zombie had a diamond head. Ooh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even though the diamonds are required, they seem like they're really helpful. kind of like the game yesterday with the full health that you could pick up in the middle, and it's not like you were required to pick up health to beat the level, but you basically were required to pick up health to beat the level.
Yeah.
So like, you know, here I feel like you're gonna have trouble doing a low percent and not getting any diamonds on the way to beating this game. I think you probably are gonna have to at least get 1 or 2.
I don't think you necessarily have to, but it will help, yes. Now, Venbright is leaving the woods once Mutant TV, which you're not going to get. You need to go fight a giant ram's head. But having the axe, that means that Venbright has all of the items required to make it to the boss. And that could potentially put Venbright into second place. Oh my gosh, I just love this game. I also love that, like, specifically the grandpa in this game is 100% designed to look like Grandpa from the Munsters, but it's not. It is not Grandpa from the Munsters. It is, quote-unquote, legally distinct Grandpa. Apparently, it's a likeness of Al Lewis, dressed as Grandpa Munster, playing the role of Grandpa. This is one of the last releases for the Atari 7800. I feel like there was a lawsuit regarding this game, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm looking it up right now, actually, because I was kind of curious. But I'm not seeing, not immediately at least, but some of these things are yeah. I mean, Atari did have to deal with a lot of lawsuits, that is for sure. So it's not like you just isolate the one Atari lawsuit and then you got it. There's a whole bunch of them. This is probably
yeah, you gotta deal with a lot of lawsuits when it comes to Atari. That's life.
Yeah. I mean, close to this time, also there was an Addams Family lawsuit, but that had nothing to do with Atari. It was the movie. There was a Rice lawsuit over that, and I think it had to do with one of the characters only started to appear in the TV show, and they had the rights to the cartoon, something like that, the comic book.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of a weird sequence. So Munsters were kind of in production. Is what. Yeah, actually, I do know the TV show trivia here off the top of my head. I just don't know the game.
So
the Munsters were under production, and the person who did the Addams Family basically knew that it was happening, and so he came up with this story of kind of coming up with his own by finding the book of comics. These are New Yorker comics, or where the Addams Family comes from. And so even though they debuted both at the exact same time, and it was, not accidental. It was one of the people knew that the other company was coming out with the Munsters. But the Munsters also were somewhat based on the Addams Family comics too, the way they designed it. So it was sort of like they were both ripping off each other simultaneously.
Gotcha.
Is how it worked.
So as far as I can,
it surprised me there was a lawsuit here, but I'm not finding one.
No, what I'm seeing is that apparently they actually did license the picture of this character as well as the guy. I guess they had the permission, whether they paid or whatever. They had the permission to use Grandpa. They just couldn't call him the Grandpa from the Munsters. But yes, this actually was fine and allowed. They went through the right hoops. I give them kudos.
Amazing.
That doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Al Lewis was the guy who is depicted here, and if you're cool enough to allow your face to be used in a video game and just be like, yeah, go for it, I give you props. Venbright, out of nowhere to the boss. Heck yeah. Okay, we'll have to see if Venbright is able to take down the mutant ram, because if so, that will move Venbright into the lead. Heck, dealing enough damage will move Venbright into the lead. This is great progress.
Yeah, I did not pay attention to exactly how much health the ram had when it was Oluk, right? Who was fighting the boss?
Yes.
I didn't pay attention to exactly how much.
That's all right, because the refs did. The boss has had 4 bits of health left. Right now, Venbright has gotten the boss down to 7 bits of health left. If we can get down to 3, then that means that Venbright takes the lead. Yeah, chat is actually wondering a little bit why All Luck No Skill is fighting werewolves in the mansion. That's a very good question. My belief is that All Luck No Skill has looked at the manual and knows that there's another weapon in the mansion. It's just, you can't get it yet. And the game's not super clear on progression, but honestly, what game from 1990 was clear on progression, you know? This is honestly one of the more sophisticated games for Atari. I would say this game has huge flaws and huge problems. Like, look at the beautiful walking animation when you're fighting the boss. It's just great. You just kind of slide left and right. But Venbright has moved into the lead. The fact that there are bosses in an Atari game is absolutely mind-blowing. That didn't happen in the day.
I mean, 7800 was basically comparable to NES a little bit. I mean, people didn't use it there very well.
Venbright, dead, but getting the enemy's health down to 2 blips of health. That is a solid lead for Venbright. All Luck No Skill now in second place. It appears that Mr. Zimbu on to the boss. This is third place. Garb in fourth. Now, Garb is a strong player. She has always done fantastic. This might just not be the game for her. You know, there's certain genres that work for various people. This is a game that I would feel pretty comfortable going into, but again, I love Atari, and if it's not a platformer, I feel like I've got a chance in Kusogrand8.
I don't know, though. Garb did just get the cross, and I mean, all you have to do now is get the axe, right? I mean...
Yeah, Garb's gotten the cross before, though, and hasn't found the axe.
Up to this point, and nobody's beat the boss, so I think it's still anybody's game right now.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, right towards the end, I'd say at about the 45-minute mark, players need to make the push to really get progress. Exploration is a big part of this, but also intuition, following Grandpa's advice of setting aside your fear and paying attention to the hints inside the manual. Those are what will help you the most in this. Oh my gosh. I still love this game despite how janky and silly it looks. And it feels janky to play. The music feels funny. Just having giant face of Grandpa in this is amazing. But it looks like Zimbu is in a solid second place. We may have a boss clear in a little bit, though, because one more hit, I believe, will take the boss down to 1 health. Oh, maybe one more. Okay. There we go. 1 health left. The boss almost dead. Just gotta finish him off. Prepare to die. No, I don't want to die. Okay, and there we go. Mr. Zimbu has cleared the boss. Enjoy this.
Does this death one kill you if you're, like, standing in the wrong spot?
I don't believe you can die here. This is just raising all of your points. Scratch 1 goat. Y'all gonna scratch a goat? Yeah, I will.
So, yeah, I was unclear if Prepare to Die referred to you and they were about to do their final move, which cheesily killed you by, like, shooting out a whole bunch of orbs at once, or if they were about to die.
When it says Prepare to Die, the number of projectiles that the boss fires definitely increases. It gets intense towards the end. The fact that we have multiple boss phases on an Atari game, again, this is pretty cool for the Atari 7800. Like, I gotta be real. I like this game.
Let's see here. What else was released this year for Atari 7600? Now I'm curious.
7800.
I mean, 7800, yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's 2600 times 3.
List of Atari games. Okay, we're gonna do by year. Let's see. We got.
Mr. Zimbu has entered the laboratory. This is where the next key item is. You can't go in here until you have killed the ram. Again, a little bit of moon logic, but if you listen to the advice of Grandpa as well as the information inside the manual, you usually can figure out where to go. It's just, if you're not paying attention to any of that, you're going to be very, very confused.
What are those things on the ground that Zimbu is at? They hurt you, but what are they?
I don't know. Lab equipment. Tesla coils. Gray corn per chat. Yeah, I like it. Oh, just a second. I need to leave Discord and come back. Okay, audio distortion. All right, I'm back. Just had some audio distortion. We're good now.
Okay, so list of games. We've got Ninja Golf. I believe we've had that one, haven't we?
I like Ninja Golf.
Let's see here. Xenophobe. I think the 7800 version's pretty good at Xenophobe. I remember watching. No, I mean, that was 89, but close. Okay. Alien Brigade. Basketball. We had the Lynx version of that, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Fatal Run, Ikari Warriors. Believe it or not, I think I've played the Ikari Warriors. Like I was at somebody else's place and they had an Atari set up and I was playing that. Mania Challenge, Meltdown, a light gun game. It is one of the few games compatible with the XG1 light gun accessory. Okay. I didn't know Atari had any light gun games. That's different. Scrapyard Dog.
I didn't know
We've
that
also
either.
had that one.
You know, one thing that I want to note here is that Mr. Zimbu did get another key item, which is this ray gun thingy. That is... What? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really important, and Mr. Zimbu has a key. The key... That key opens the crypt. Scary. I don't think... I'm not sure if the key is a key item, but it certainly is a key. It's not horizontal gold key, vertical gold key, but gold key nonetheless. It is a key item. There we go. You have the power to enter the crypt, says Grandpa. Many thanks. Mr. Zimbu likely looking at the manual.
It shows that it's a key item if it shows up on that screen. Is that right?
That is what we are using. And Venbright has killed the boss, moving into second. That puts All Lux No Skill into third, Garb into fourth. Now, mind you, only first and second will be continuing on in the tournament. Third and fourth will be eliminated. It is very important for the players to start making progress. So Venbright really doing a good job of trying to solidify his place in the tournament. Yeah, you're doing pretty good for a mortal. Good job, Venbright. Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you.
So, you want to do this lore now? I've had it sitting here. Do a dramatic reading for you. There's more to it than was in that cutscene, so, you know, if you want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it. I want to hear something.
All right, let's see here. Jonathan Harkman, Witchfinder General, thought it sounded like the clatter of dead bones. He pulled his high collar snug against the colt as he and his small party crossed the hard ground. They were all quiet, save one. Dr. Evil, his hands bound behind his back, screeched and shouted as he was escorted to his death. "You're all going to pay!" His voice squeaked like the rusted hinges of a door to a crypt. "Each and every one of you," he shouted, looking around at his captors. His mouth was frozen into a twisted grin. His eyes glowed feral red. There was no doubt in the Witchfinder's mind that Dr. Evil was a powerful warlock. "Don't fight it," the Witchfinder General whispered. "It's God's will." Dr. Evil laughed. Then abruptly he glared at the Witchfinder. "You're going to pay most of all."
Oh no! Well, there are like two. That was about a quarter, maybe a fifth of the lore. We'll go ahead and let everybody else read the rest of that because we've got a skull fight on Mr. Zimbu's screen. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I noticed. We've got action going here.
Yes, shoot him in the temple there. Yeah, temple is the weak spot.
So what is the pattern here with the skull? Because it looks like right now Zimbu's pattern is just to tank it, but...
I don't know. I didn't make it to the skull.
Oh, okay. It's like I mean I try to shoot and then dodge. Maybe I mean, this feels like the kind where you get like 2 shots in and then you move all the way down and you're like in a safe spot and then you go back up and you get 2 shots in and you go like there's a patient spot you can go to.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's like if the skull is far away from you, then he's probably not going to deal a lot of damage to you. Or if he's far away from you, but when he gets close, almost every projectile is going to be in range unless you go to the top or the bottom. So that's my initial reaction there. Move to the top of the screen or the bottom of the screen when he gets close. When he's far away, try to land some hits, and hopefully you can take him down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the skull is far enough in the game that I would probably be playing it a little bit safer. Like maybe the mutant ram, I would just try to take it first time through, see if I could just cause the damage. And we do have it there. There we go.
All Luck No Skill is through the go as well. Both Venbright and All Luck No Skill have been making a lot of progress. Garb lost in the woods. You gotta go left. That's where you need to go, but Garb keeps going right. Now, the map isn't fantastic in the manual, but I believe that it does show the cabin is in the left side of the woods here. Otherwise, you're gonna be... And the axe is right next to the cabin there, so if you are in the woods, you gotta go left. To the right on the cliffs.
You can see how you can misunderstand this here, but
yep.
I mean, it's just kind of just a line, and it goes left, but it's not like the woods are actually following the same map as this map.
Yeah, so there are a lot more routes in the woods.
Right. Yeah, you have to just kind of say, oh, that means that I'm actually going left and not that there's some sort of... Because I've seen maps like this before where it's just topological. Like, it doesn't really mean left. It just means that somewhere in this maze you'll find this thing. And they don't really have a good way of drawing the maze, so they just draw some exits somewhere. And you have to actually not pay attention. And, I mean, I would still do the left first. I mean, that would be the way I would go first. But, I've easily seen games where it doesn't do that, so I could easily see why you get confused, even if you're looking at the map as you're trying to do this.
Oh, yeah. Now, Garb is in an unfortunate situation because to the north is a place that requires the lamp to get through. However, there are a lot of zombies that are pretty much invincible to your knife right now that if they get in your way, yeah, dealing with them is not very doable. You want to have the ray gun, or at the very least the axe before you deal with them. Oh my gosh, Garb using the crucifix to avoid damage from the bats, but you gotta go left. You need to go left. Okay, I hope, Garb, my fingers are crossed. I want you to make it there. Please go left. This is the thing. Oh, All Luck No Skill. Wandering into an underground area. That's another place that generally, I believe, requires the lamp in order to get through. But it's a bit of a nightmare to deal with, to be honest. Oh no, Mr. Zimbu, the dog got you! Guess what? You're dead! That's what doggies do to you in this game. Now, we are down to just over 15 minutes left. The players are making a lot of progress, and Venbright at the mutant skull. Now, let me see. It looks like Mr. Zimbu got the skull down to 5 left. Grey Goo Girl, thank you for the raid, by the way. Come and join. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, we'll have to see how Mr. Zimbu is able to do. Venbright does not have the blaster, as chat is mentioning. So the big question is, can you actually damage the skull at this point? You might be able to. Yep, you can. It's just significantly slower without the blaster, which was in the previous room. Unfortunately, can't backtrack. Too bad. Ooh, I thought of another strat. You could potentially just go down to the bottom, wait for the skull to scroll up, and shoot up. That's a safe but slow strategy, but that might work if you can shoot vertically, which I believe you can. We are into the prepare to die. Now, FYI, the primary metric is bosses killed, followed by damage to bosses, followed by key items. So even though Venbright missed a key item, he still did tangible damage to the boss, thus moving into second place. I mean, Venbright was already into second place, but that further solidifies second place there.
So, sorry, I just had an internet hiccup there.
You're good. You're good. We just had
what
another
it
skull
reminds
fight.
me of is like some of the fights in The Hunt. That's a submarine shooting, horizontal shooting game. And one of the bosses, it's very annoying because there's only one safe spot and it's like way in the corner. So you have to like go in the corner, you take one shot, and then you come back and then you take one shot. And the problem with that game is it's timed. This one doesn't seem to have any kind of time, right? There's no, you don't get hurt if you wait around.
Yeah.
So even if it's like 100% guaranteed you're not going to get hit, that's certainly better strategy for this. So I think you might be right about the vertical if somebody can discover that. But that's really hard to discover on the spot. You know, you're seeing this very weird boss for the first time and trying to, assess what do I do with this thing. I can understand, especially you don't even know if it's going to cause damage when you try a certain thing.
Yep.
At least these are nice enough to have a little display. And my favorite games like this are the ones where you can't actually tell if you're doing damage to the enemy, and so you try something creative to avoid damage, yet you find out later, oh, that actually none of the hits you did counted because you were in a weird spot. And yeah. Always fun.
Yeah. Now, I saw some people commenting that All Luck No Skill was doing some weird things, but occasionally the game says that if you do not, or you need to kill all of the enemies on a screen in order for certain things to happen. And I'm not sure if that's ever actually required, but I do think that occasionally you can get a potion or some other item that drops once you have killed everything on the screen. So I would guess that is what All Luck No Skill is doing. With that said, it is time to go to the boss. Let's see if they can make it there. Neptune Daydream, thank you so much for resubscribing. Good to have you. All Luck No Skill currently running away, which I thought that the boss was in the mansion. Like the giant skull? Where do you keep your skulls? I don't know. I keep mine in the basement.
I got rid of all my skulls on eBay, so I don't know.
Per chat, the skull is in the
anymore.
graveyard. That's a better place to keep it than your basement. Okay.
Oh, okay. Where do you keep your skulls?
I already said the basement. Hello.
Oh, your basement. Okay, I'm sorry.
Basement. Come on. We all know that's where you keep them when you're at home. Actually, no, I have skulls on my desk. I forgot.
Here, so.
Yeah, I don't have a basement either. I was lying.
Yeah, the Utah's like the buildings there. It seems like that would be hard to build basements. I don't know. Would it?
It depends on the type of ground and the area. Simply put, you want to factor in, if water is going to be an issue with the water table. Certain types of soil are better when it comes to basements than others. Where I grew up, it really wasn't good soil for basements. Simon's experiments involve body fluids from his rams. Well, stop it, Simons. I don't want you to use fluids. Gross. Okay, all luck, no skill. Currently trying to kill all of the enemies in this area to see what happens, but this is the dock. I don't think there's anything important here. Garb, can you make it to the cabin? It's to the left! Yes, you have to go all the way up, but after this screen, go left, 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 all the way to the left, 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 all the way. Yeah, if you bring out the crucifix, it's fine. The bats... Okay. Yeah, and Grandpa says from the cliffs, you go all the way north until you go left, and there we go! Garb is gonna get the axe. This gives her a chance to start catching up. The axe is to the right. And there we go. Bam! We've got the axe. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you do not want to go in the fireplace. That's dark and scary. And everything there will pretty much immediately kill you.
Do you think we have the time for a last moment lead change on this?
It's probably not going to happen, but there's time. Yeah, like, I would say probability very low. Possibility is definitely there. Yeah, the thing is, like, people are noting how much health All Luck No Skill has, and that is significant. This means that All Luck No Skill has a fairly good chance at any of the bosses. The issue would then be blood. If you run out of blood, do you die? Actually, the manual might have the information for that. What does it say about blood?
Let's see here.
This gauge shows the purity of Jimmy's blood. Well, that's kind of gross. Bats and ravens will inject impurities into his bloodstream if they bite him. When blood purity reaches 0, the game is over. So, yeah, you've got 2 health meters in this game. One is health, one is blood. Honestly, I kind of dig that. It's like Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Dark Souls has like 50 meters that if like they either run out or fill all the way up, you're just dead. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just it's kind of funny to have. I guess it's a long-term thing you have to worry about. The only thing that bothers me about that is when you have like one of those little long-term meters, and I guess it also counts if your game has a time limit, like
you've got
Prince
potions
of Persia.
You've got potions to restore your blood meter. Like,
okay.
You've got one potion for health, one potion for blood. The blood potion is red.
Okay. Well,
or no, the health potion is red. Blood potion is blue. That's it.
Okay. And normally with this sort of thing, I would think it'd be like casting spells or something, but maybe they had a mechanic they didn't put in.
No, I think that it makes sense. Like, you know, having like sort of a poison system, you know, and considering that you've got health upgrades, but you can't, like, different enemies deal damage to your health, some deal damage to your blood. This skull, for example, the bosses, as far as I've seen, have done nothing to your blood and only to your health. So if you need to deal with the bosses, you know, you can just grind health upgrades and not worry too much about the blood. But running around, if there are bats around, you want to have your crucifix out or you're going to have to deal with blood.
So it looks like it's possible we might have the skull killed here.
It's possible, yeah. All luck, no skill, doing a good job.
We don't need it killed for the lead change, though, right?
I don't believe so, because the boss, Mr. Zimbu, got him down to 5 health. All luck, no skill. Getting the boss down to 4 health left. That is first place, with Mr. Zimbu in second. having made it to 5 hit points left. Venbright in third, 10 hit points left on the skull. Garb, unfortunately, very far behind, and I think that she's pretty much out of this. Unfortunately, this is just not the game for Garb, but if you give Garb a platformer, she destroys it. Every single time.
What's the name for this kind of genre game anyway? Isometric shooter?
I mean,
adventure something?
An action-adventure game, more or less. I mean, we've got exploration here, going to various places. It's non-linear. It's not quite open world per se because it's a very limited world, but it very much is, you know, collecting various items in order to get into new places. I'd say action-adventure. A Grandpa-vania. Oh my gosh. Okay, chat. I like that.
We'll go with that.
I mean, Grandpa's important. He talks to you. He gives you information. You know, this is... as many flaws as this game has, I actually think that, like, it was very ambitious for the system. It looks pretty dang decent for Atari. It's janky, but it is a lot of fun to play. I highly recommend giving this a shot. And the music, sound effects are top-notch. The humor is great. You will definitely feel the jankiness when you play this, though, considering how fast you die to certain enemies. Oh, Mr. Zimbu just bouncing around from these zombies. Oh my gosh, look at him bob his head.
So you said you've known about this for a long time. I mean, did you play this in 1990?
No.
When did you first play this?
I don't know. Like, a long time is in a few years. And yeah, I tried this out and I was like, I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing. I'm clueless. I don't know. But at the same time, it just kind of captured me because of, like, how everything looks, and that, like, there was obviously more to this game than just the typical Atari fare that is 5 minutes of game and then the rest of it is exactly the same over and over. That's not the case with this game. It's varied. Theres progression. It's like a fantastic change for the Atari.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's just I almost thought you were about to talk about somehow in your childhood you came across a 7800 and you had these experiences but I guess not.
I mean, I did have. I grew up with the Atari. We did have some 7800 games, but I mostly played Atari 800 XL. But yeah, like, we had some. We had, what's it called? Food Fight for Atari 7800. That's the biggest one that I remember. And that game's, I would say, a classic when it comes to the era. Hey, Venbright and Mr. Zimbu both on the Skull Boss, but Mr. Zimbu has very low max health. This is going to be extremely difficult for Mr. Zimbu to make more progress than before. There's a very good chance that Venbright could pass Mr. Zimbu. If Venbright doesn't rush.
Yeah, there's a strat here apparently of like being inside the actual skull's the head of the skull. It looks like you're actually safe if you're up there.
Yeah, and if you can just
I'm
stay
still
inside.
Unclear.
There's no timer, so don't worry. Like, there's the Kusogrand8 timer, but don't worry about entertaining us. Worry about making more progress than you made before. Worry about killing this boss, because he's got 6 bits of health left. You need to get him down to 4 in order to move into second place. Venbright, this is the final moment. Oh my gosh. One hit and Venbright is dead.
One hit will do it, but if you're
No! That is 3rd place for Venbright. There is no getting back. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I
down
was
to
going
the
to say,
wire.
I mean, they should be looking at the Kusogrand8 clock, but just in the sense of, I don't think there'd be a chance to get back to this point in the time there's left. So that means this is the time to be careful and do that. But yeah, and it looks like Midbright's not going to make another go even.
Well, there's no.
And also, Mr. Ninja's done.
Garb is onto the skull? What? Okay, I guess Garb is just gonna fight the skull and not worry about fighting other bosses. That's fine. But this is one boss, not two bosses, and that is not enough damage to matter. So I think this is the end of the match. At least Garb saw a boss, and I would say that is good. But everybody throw your hands up in the air because I missed the hour by 100th of a second. Oh my gosh. That is time, everybody. Put those hands in the air, do a little dance, celebrate a bit, and relax. Well, as it turns out, it's very clear, all luck and no skill. Apparently was lucky because they take first place. They are the winner. In second, Mr. Zimbu. Midbright and Garb are unfortunately eliminated from the tournament, but that's what happens to everybody after a time. I love doing this. This was a fantastic watch. I had a blast here. Let me go ahead and welcome our player in to come and chat. Let's see, all luck, no skill. Come and chat. I would love to talk about your experience with this game if you would like. And as we get chatting, we can go ahead and let the players know of the order over in the match chat. Come on. There we go. All luck and no skill. Congratulations. You apparently had the luck because you are the victor, getting the skull down to 2 hit points left. That was pretty cool. I'm not hearing you if you're talking, but congratulations.
Not seeing.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, well, I assume that you're just trying to get things ready. Interrupt me when you would like. I've got to move away from this because people are cutting their streams, and that is fine. So, like, honestly, I think that it really came down to who was able to figure out, like, where the game wanted them to go and what it wanted them to do. And those were some
also of the all luck strategy with the diamonds was what actually did the pushover in terms of the number of points of damage on the boss. I see the name on Discord.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, all luck. You can just interrupt us whenever. Yeah, but I actually didn't know that you could skip the ram boss. With that said, Garb didn't have the right weapon, and because of that, that was the ram wasn't going down. There was no way. And I think that was a pretty fantastic ending for Garb, but that was pretty funny to do things a little bit out of order. With that said, I'm glad that the game actually lets you do that instead of forcing you into a specific order here. Yeah.
Yes. Somebody in chat mentioned that a strategy guide says to get the necklace before fighting the skull, which I don't think is what the manual says.
I'm not sure what. Oh, all luck. Hello there. I hear you now.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you guys. I had to get my headphones.
Aha! That's what it was. All luck. Great job. You took the victory here. You got the skull boss down to 2 hits left, and you killed the ram boss as well. This was a lot of fun. Like, everybody made it to the skull boss. One player, though, Garb, actually skipped the ram, which was kind of an issue because that meant that Garb wasn't able to get the laser to fight the skull and thus couldn't deal a lot of damage to it. But with that said, I want to know your impressions of the game. What do you think of Midnight Mutants?
I had a lot of fun with it, actually. I thought this was kind of like, to me, it felt like a proto-Metroidvania, before that term was even coined. It was just real fun using, obviously, you gave us the manual, which had a map in it, and running around finding, like, all the stuff that was labeled on the map. Like, that's how I knew where all the power diamonds were that powered me up and gave me max health.
That helped a lot.
The guide also did say, like, to find the laser or the blaster before fighting the first boss. So I went and, like, sat in that room trying to kill the werewolves or whatever they were for forever. I don't know how much time I wasted there.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, the thing is, I always tell people when it comes to the Atari era, manuals weren't really considered optional. You played with the manual. If you didn't have the manual, then you were in a lot of trouble or playing a very, very simple game. But this manual has a lot of essential information and a lot of helpful tips, honestly. You know, go into this area, try this out. The whole hint about how to actually make it to the barn. I don't think anybody would have made it to the first boss without information from the manual. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, that and the other big thing that was in the manual was telling you what each of the potions did, because the fact that you have the 2 health bars, your blood percentage, and your actual health, and knowing which one helps you in which way.
Yeah, I sort of like that there are 2 health bars because it means that you can increase your max HP, and that makes certain fights, like against the skull, a lot easier. But other enemies still pose a threat. You know, bats are still an ever-present issue because they can keep draining your blood. So even though you have a high amount of health, you know, they're still dealing chip damage on a different health bar that you have to pay attention to. Yeah, maybe it's not the best implementation I've seen of that, but I actually think that it was fine for this game. With that said, can you understand why I brought it to Kusogrand8?
Yes, I can. It's definitely, the controls are a little iffy at times. For some reason, like, when you go to fire your weapon, like, sometimes it would fire real fast and sometimes it would be real slow, and I thought it was maybe the projectiles or the sprites on screen, but that didn't really seem to matter. It was just kind of random.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how that cooldown works either. I'd agree.
And then also it has the thing of games at the time where you enter a screen and the enemies are just randomly on that screen. So you could have enemies on top of you when you spawn, and then you do the leave and come back strategy.
Yeah, I think that that's something that, if fixed, it would be a good quality of life improvement. Like, there are a lot of small things that I don't think completely detract from the game. I think that, you know, they could be improved, but it's not enough for me to hate it, you know?
Oh, it's definitely a diamond in the rough. Like, with polishing, this could be a great game for sure.
Yeah. Well, this is a game that I've been sitting on for a long time. You know, I've let people know that it's one of those that I found a few years ago, and I was like, okay, I'm putting this on my list of games that I want to return to, and finally managed to, and I'm glad that we got to have it. With that said, do you think that this is something that you would return to in the future?
Yeah, it's not much longer than that, right? After the second boss, there's only one other one, I believe the manual says.
I don't think there's too much after that, yeah.
I'd definitely go back to this and try and beat it.
Sweet. Yeah, I hope that you do. I still need to go and try and beat it. I did kill the Ram boss, luckily, but you made more progress than I did. Like, when I was trying the game out. I just need to go and actually plow through it and find out how to save Grandpa. You know, I want to see what witty thing he says at the end. Oh.
Yeah, I was trying to read and play the the quotes at the top of the screen whenever you screen transitioned, and some of them were good.
Yeah, I'd say like they're a little bit of the time, but at the same time, they're kind of fun. I like them. Well, sweet, you are moving on, and again, Mr. Zimbu will be moving on. Thank you so much. Congrats to both of you, and to the others, congrats on your freedom. Go and live a happy life. All luck, no skill. Are you doing anything on stream that people should know about?
No, I'm not currently streaming right now.
That is all right. Well, thank you so much for playing an Omega number. Thanks for joining for commentary. It was a joy to have you here, and honestly, extremely helpful. I will see both of you next time.
Take care.
Take care, friends.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, everybody, Kusogrand8, we've got 3 more matches coming up for you today. I'm going to go ahead and run a quick ad, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.